Jacob Glanville is an immunologist and the chief executive at CenterVax, a company focusing on new vaccine technologies. He's joining us now from San Francisco in California. Jacob, good to have you with us again. So that's it. The European Medicines Agency say it's safe. Line drawn. Everyone moves on, right?
This was what we discussed a couple days ago. That was what I was expecting, is that there would be a quick review. The number of cases were so small, and there were cases of clotting in the control group as well, that I was expecting they would reopen the vaccine. I think now the important thing is to help people get over that temporary scare that might make them hesitant to receive the vaccine.
And it's that temporary scare that I was kind of alluding to in my first question to you, Jacob. It doesn't really make it much easier, does it? Because people are still very hesitant at getting vaccinated.
Yeah, I think the challenge is that we are using science to communicate why we should get vaccinated, where I think ultimately the message needs to be personal. I chose to become vaccinated because I have a daughter, and I wouldn't want to think that through my negligence that I would ever infect my baby girl. And I think that's something that everyone can relate to, because we don't want to affect our parents or our family, our friends, our colleagues. These vaccines are safe and the virus is not. So that's the easy choice that people should return to. I was a little surprised they didn't recommend something like a baby aspirin, which is safe and routinely offered if people are worried about blood clots. But the risk of blood clot here appears to be negligible and potentially not associated with the vaccine at all. So I'm glad we're back on track, and I think people need to think of the big picture of their family and loved ones.
Absolutely. And just more broadly then on vaccines, more generally, Jacob, are you happy with how the rollout is going? You will have seen the reports from Europe that there's been a slowdown in rollout there. I think the United States is kind of rushing ahead, but there is still some hesitancy. What's your assessment of how the vaccination drive is going around the world?
That's going to be the problem of 2021. As we have solved the first issue, which was having enough doses to go around, which frankly has not been solved at a global level or even on a country-by-country basis, we're going to run into the second issue, and that is getting enough people willing to get vaccinated. And for instance, here in the United States, there are about 40% of Americans that are unlikely to be vaccinated. Similar problems exist by varying degrees in different nations in Europe and around the globe. And that's a problem, because if we do not establish 70 to 80% of citizens vaccinated in a given region, then the virus will continue to spread, and we do not get out of this endemic dilemma.
And finally then, Jacob, I wonder if I can get your thoughts on sort of vaccine nationalism and the spread of vaccines around the world. You will, of course, have seen reports that many places in the global south have not been getting doses of vaccination. Their vaccination drive has been very slow. What are your feelings about how we make sure that everyone around the world is vaccinated?
I think Europe has made an effort to try to create a more equitable distribution of vaccines. The truth is that rich countries got first in line. That happened. It was somewhat unavoidable. We need to make sure that we adapt as we have enough vaccines available and groups can afford to be less greedy. We need to make a deliberate effort by every nation who can afford to do so to help nations who have less access or less ability. And the reason you should do this is that for as long as this virus is anywhere, it is a risk of returning everywhere. We've seen this pop up from one nation and cover the globe in a series of short months. It is short-sighted for us not to protect every human on the planet and to just think that if our own nation is safe, we're okay. That's not true. The virus will come back. The vaccine responses will wane over time. And so we need to look beyond our own borders and think collectively about how to stamp this out everywhere.
Absolutely. Okay, Jacob Glanville, appreciate your thoughts, sir. Thanks for being with us.